Hi, welcome back to my channel. And I'm doing something a little bit differently this time. I'm doing a story time. That's right, boys and girls, I'm doing a story time. So, before you get started, please, if you haven't, leave a like, subscribe, and comment below on what you want to see or just this video in general. Title, yeah, it's pretty messed up, but have an explanation for it. Okay. Before I went to Cartagena, Colombia, and if you haven't checked out that video, please check it. I'll probably leave the link in the description or above here, whichever one comes first. But yeah, so I went to Colombia a couple months ago, and this happened like days up to the trip, like literally like 2 days before the trip. And I'm gonna tell you about it. So, if you haven't followed me on IG, which you should, I don't know why you're waiting. I'm pretty popping on IG, as they say, the kids say. But, so one of the guys that were talking to me, he slid in my DMs. Now listen, I get DMs from guys every day. My inbox is full. Like sometimes I read them, sometimes I don't. They just like, you know, just guys I don't know in particular. But every now and again, I'll get a professional football player or a basketball player, you know, a celebrity, you know. I'm not trying to brag, but you know, your girl got it going on. But I'll get the occasional, like, you know, pseudo celebrity, you know, DM sliding or whatever from a guy. So in this particular day, I work for a studio in Charlotte, and they produce music, and they're like brothers to me. So I was commenting on one of their posts, and me and them, we always go back and forth. So one in particular guy, he's a music manager, I believe, and he manages like a couple of like hot new artists and stuff. He was like, "You want to come on tour with me?" And I'm just like, "No, I don't. I have a job. I don't want to come on tour with you. Like, I'll pass." He's like, "Oh, just try to talk to me and this and that." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So that's not the bad part about it. The other part is another guy DM'd me the same, like within minutes of each other. He DM'd me, and he had a more courteous approach, I guess you can say. You work for the studio. And I was like, "Yeah, I work for the studio." He's okay, I know some of the guys there. And I said, "Okay, cool." So I looked at his bio. He's almost at 1 million followers. He has like 700,000 followers. And he has a blue check. So I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. All right. That's awesome." Like, all right. And stuff. So I kept looking at it. And he takes nice pictures and stuff. And I actually heard the guys at the studio talk about him and stuff. And for, you know, name reasons, we're gonna call him Fernando. Let's call him. Yeah, I just got back from LA. I live out in LA, but I live in Charlotte part-time, and he was telling me like he got like a bunch of property here and stuff. And the only problem was like he was really young. I think he was like 25 or 26, which is not a big deal. I mean, I'm sure if you're from LA, you probably have like, you know, you're ahead of the game, you know, especially if you're entertainment or whatever. Seeing like there's like Porsches, Ferraris, you know, Gucci's, and all those nice stuff splattered on his page, and all the things that I like per se. So I was like, all right. Well, he asked me out, and he was like, "Where you want to go?" And I was like, "Okay, we can go to my favorite place at the lounge and stuff at the hotel that I usually go to." And he was like, "Okay, cool. Like we can meet each other there." So I was like, "All right, that's nice." So he's not a bad looking guy, and we actually talked on the phone. He has a nice speaking voice, like very sexy, very Latino, like all that nice stuff. I was like, all right, I can get with this. So the next day, I went up to meet with him at the studio. So that's like a nice neutral place, you know, to meet somebody. And This is where the red flags start kicking in. So he was like, I'm getting my car detailed and I don't have a car right now. Can you pick me up? I said, okay, that's not a problem. Like, yeah. FYI, I have a clown car. I have a clown car. I drive a 2-seater coupe, top down convertible. Not enough room. Like, my purse fills up the whole back seat, which is non-existent. So this FYI, he's sitting down. He's already talking to another guy because he acted like he was going to like hire him for security or something like that, or another, I don't know. And he's okay, nice to meet you, this and that. Once he seen me coming in, so I was like, hi, nice to meet you, and all this other stuff. He gets up, and I'm not the tallest person in the world. I'm like 5'6"-ish, 5'5", 5'6". And he literally comes up to my bosom. Wow. And I'm like, okay, all right. Hey, that's not a problem. Like, you know, you got the money. I'm sure all this money you say that you have, that you got stacked up, you can stand on it and whatever. You be tall as me, whatever. That's not a problem. So I was like, all right, well, he's a little shorter than I usually date, but that's not a problem. So he's nice, and you know, he seems like he got a lot going for himself. So let's go on this adventure. So we get into the car, and he was like, oh, this is a nice car and stuff. And I was like, yeah, thanks. And he was telling me how he was getting his car detailed. And he told me that he had a Bentley, I believe, and he had a Ferrari for his ex-girlfriend, but of course it's his ex-girlfriend, so you gotta take it back. And he's like, yeah, it's red and stuff, but we're no longer together, so like I'm gonna have to take it back or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, listen here, like I don't need a Ferrari. I think my insurance premiums will be through the roof. But you know, if you are buying all these cars for like all your girlfriends or ex-girlfriends and stuff, you can pay off my car notes. I only got a couple thousand left on my car, like no biggie and stuff. Like he was like, oh yeah, I buy cars for my girls all the time. I'm like, no. I said, listen here, I'm very humble, sweet humble pie and stuff. Just give me a rack or two, and we'll be good. Like we'll be good to go. So we get to the lounge, and they have valet. I'm there at this place all the time, so valet knows me. They know me. They know your girl. And they're like, oh, Brooke, it's so great seeing you again, this and that. And he comes up, and I guess he just wants to be a peacock or something. I don't know. He just wants to be very flamboyant. And he was like, oh, yeah, I usually have my Bentley or my Ferrari here and stuff. When I bring it up here next time, can you make sure nobody takes pictures of it? And they were like, yeah, okay, well, you don't have it now. And so there's no, I'm just saying like in future references and stuff. And so, but I want to be left up front. He said, okay, that's not a problem, sir. And so he said, yeah, I'll tip you $100 if you do that next time for me. They said, yeah, no problem, sir. That's fine. That's fine. So, we go in, and you know, we sit down, have a nice conversation. And so like I was getting to know, I said, oh, so what do you do? He was telling me that he does marketing for YouTube and Instagram, and he also makes music. So I was like, oh, this is nice. And I did this research before. I didn't know about the whole Instagram or marketing part, but I did check out his Spotify account, and he does have singles with like a bunch of like, you know, R&B superstars and stuff. And I'll tell you the names of the singers, but I think I can. I don't know. We might give it away. I don't know. But they sing a lot of like top charting songs, FYI. So I was like, okay, this and that. He's like, yeah, I do music. And he was telling me all his streams, this and that, and whatever. And he was telling me all the companies that he works for, and how he was helping out with the studio, getting their models and all that other stuff together. And I was like, all right, nice. So we were talking, and he was telling me like, Yes, I wear designer everything. Like nothing touches my neck if it's not designer. I wear Gucci everything. I do this and I do that. And this is a little side note here. I used to be in fashion not too long ago. And I was a fashion stylist. And I dealt with a lot of designer clothing and a lot of designer pieces. So I have a sensitive eye when it comes to fashion. And usually I can tell by like the quality or like, you know, the texture or something. Like you don't have to have a logo on it. I can, you know, spot like replicas and I can spot like authentic, genuine fabrics. Like my eyes were just trained that way. So when he was telling me that he was decked out in Gucci, I looked at his, because he had a sports jacket on. And I looked at it and I was like, honey, this ain't Gucci. I don't know what this is. This looks vintage. And so, which is nothing wrong with vintage. I'm wearing vintage as we speak. But I'm like, no. I'm like, this is not Gucci, my friend. I don't know what it is. And I didn't like come up and tell him like that. I was just like, oh, okay. But I was like, you're not wearing Gucci right now. And so, which is fine. Like, you just can't be decked out in Gucci head to toe every day. And so, unless you're like Jeffree Star or somebody like that. So I was like, oh, right. I was like, well, let me just see the inside of your coat. And he was like being hesitant. I was like, it's fine. Like I'm a fashion, I used to be a fashion stylist. Like it's okay. So I looked at it and it was like an Italian brand, but it was one that I've never heard. It was like one of those like, I don't know. It, like I said, it's vintage. So it's probably one of those like clothing that you find like, you know, back in the 80s, early 90s, when they used to make everything over here, I guess. I know that's very contradictory when I say when it was an Italian company, but you know, if it was made in Italy or something, I don't know. But it wasn't Gucci. Point blank, it wasn't Gucci. So I was like, okay. He said, yeah, I just didn't wear my Gucci today. And I said, yeah, that's no problem. Everybody can't wear Gucci every day. That's no problem. So, the drinks at this restaurant, they're very expensive. They're like $20 a pop, and this is just for a cocktail. So he was buying like, you know, drinks galore. And so he just buying drinks, like, oh, what kind of cocktail do you want? I was like, okay, I want this cocktail. And they were very fancy. Their presentation, like top notch. Like there's one that I had, it was in like a lantern, and they brought it out to you, and like it had like liquid nitrogen, and so like it was like dry ice, and like smoke was coming out. It was very fancy. Wow, that's crazy. You know, creative presentation all around. If you're paying $20 for a drink, it better come out singing to you, dancing, and it better get you highly intoxicated. That's all I'm saying. So, you know, we were talking this and that, and he decided to go on IG Live. And he goes on live, and the whole notifications just blew up. Like, I think he had like, say he probably had like 10,000 views in like one setting. It was something ridiculous like that, and it just like kept coming hearts or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I'm with my girl now, this and that, and he just kept like trying to flex and all this other stuff. Yeah, I'm with my girl, this is my girl here, she wears designer clothes, she's all bad, and so she's good, she's this and she's that. And so he grabs my Louis Vuitton purse and he was showing it off to everybody. I'm like, number one, oh, see, this is what I'm saying again. Number one, you don't grab a woman's purse without their permission. Number two, you don't show off everybody's, like, my purse. So I was like, all right. So I like nicely grabbed my purse back and stuff, and I'm like, this is weird. Why are you flexing? I'm like, number one, yes, I have a Louis Vuitton, and yes, it is a luxury brand, but like I said, I used to be a fashion stylist, and I literally got that from like second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever hand had it before me at a consignment shop. So it's not that bad, you know. So we continue on with our date, and this time, like, since he's like, what, 4'11", little buzz by this moment, I was like, all right, then, it's time for us to go back. Like, I got to pack. I gotta head to a different country tomorrow morning. I got jet set, so I don't have time for this. And I even told him that beforehand and stuff too. I'm like, yeah, I only have a couple hours to spend time with you and stuff like that. But like when I talked to the bartender later and stuff, he was like begging everybody at the bar to follow him on Instagram. And I'm like, you have 600, 700K of people following you already, and you just did a live stream and you had like 10,000 people. Oh, and by the way, he said that he made $10,000 just by that, off that one stream. And you know, valet pulls up my car and stuff. He wants to talk junk about my car, talking about how small it was and how it wasn't a Bentley, how it was a Ferrari and all. Honey, this car actually would fit you just perfectly. It would fit you. Like, you would have too much room in this car. Like, don't talk smack about it. This is a very nice car. Mine's listen here. It may not be a Ferrari, but my car is Italian in other ways. But anywho, so we get back to the studio, and he buys a bottle of Bel Air, and I forgot this one point. So he was like asking me questions. He was like, oh, are you mine? Are you mine? And this and that. And I'm like, I don't know. What do you mean, am I yours? I'm like, yes, I'm yours for right now, I guess, because we're in the same, we've, been hanging out, whatever. He said, oh, if you're mine and stuff, that means you got the, and I was like, no, que pasa, no. I was like, what? Are you serious? Are you insinuating fellatio already on the first date? I was like, no, sir. I'm like, let me get Fernando out of my car. So I was like, no, this is very disrespectful. I'm like, you were nice, let's go home. Like, let me drop you off back at the studio. So we go back to the studio, and he buys a big bottle of Bel Air champagne and stuff. So that's like $80, $100 at the studio. 10:30, he calls me. And he was like, have you made it home and stuff? And I said, yeah. And then he was telling me how much of a great time he had with me and stuff. And I was like, okay, great. Well, I'll let you know when I get to the airport. I get a text, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm half asleep by this point. Just awakened by anxiety. And I look at the phone, and it was like, you set me up. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, what? And I read it again. I'm like, it says, you set me up. I'm like, yes, I guess I got set up. I'm like, we went on a date. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I texted him back. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he was like, you set me up. I got robbed and I got shot. I was like, whoa. Hold up. Hold your horses there. You mean you got shot? I'm like, what? I'm like, what is going on? So I'm half asleep, and I'm freaking out at this point. So I call him, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, are you okay and stuff? And he's just like moaning. I got shot. How could you do this to me? And I'm like, do what to you? What are you talking? Like, where you get? Are you at the hospital? Like, what are you doing? I think I got shot. He just kept saying, I think I got shot. You either know if you got shot or not. I know somebody shot me through the chest. I'm like, oops, look, it's a bullet wound. I got shot. It's not a guess if you got shot or not. So, like, he just like, and then he just like faded off. And I'm like, oh, right. And then like his phone went straight to voicemail after that. So I'm like, okay, this is strange. Like, I have no idea what's going on. Next thing you know, I go on his Instagram and stuff, and he was saying like, oh, please pray for me. I think I got shot. All this other stuff. And I'm like, why are you like broadcasting this to like the congregation? To the world of Instagram. Like, I don't understand. And then like he posted up a picture of a hospital bed, and it had blood on it, and blood was everywhere. But I was like, that's not possible. Cause like, number one, if you were hurt that badly, you wouldn't like go take a picture of the hospital bed and all this other stuff. Number two, the picture was grainy AF. It was so grainy, it was ridiculous. It looks like, you know how you keep sharing photos or whatever, and the quality gets worse and worse over the time you share it. That's what it looked like. It was grains. By this point, it was rice grains. I was like, this is stupid. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe some packed. I haven't even packed yet for this trip. I'm trying, I got things to do. So I called my friend. She's a nurse. And I was like, hey, something crazy happened. She's like, what? How was your day? And I was like, my day went well until he got shot. And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, he said he got shot. Yeah. I said, no. She's like, I don't believe it. I said, I'm not buying it either. I have not taken out my wallet or my purse. I have not made this transaction. I'm not buying it either, honey. So I heard from him. I'm like, no. He calls me before I was getting ready to board my flight. And he was like, I'm like, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm fine, and this and that. And he's like, I'm, covered. I said, well, what happened? He's like, well, they took all my jewelry, they took my money, and all this other stuff. I was like, okay. All right, I'm busy. Like, I got things to do. And he was like, all right, well, just let me know. I was like, yeah, sure. So, fast forward, I'm actually in Cartagena. I'm in Colombia. I'm enjoying the weather. I'm enjoying all the festivities. I'm enjoying all the people and stuff, mind my own business. And I go onto the Instagram, go check that out. And he's posted in a hospital bed, like his little tiny feet and stuff. And he's all stressed out, tongue out and stuff. And I'm like, yo, like, what's going on? He's hooked up to IV. So I'm like, listen here. Not only do I have a fashion background, I also have a medical background too. I got my minor in biology, anyway. So I have a lot of backgrounds, so I have a lot of talents here. But I'm like, if you got shot and you had all this blood or whatever, you would had a blood transfusion and stuff. And you're not even supposed to be allowed to taking cameras or pictures and stuff, because it's basically a crime scene and stuff. Like, it's true. The place where he said he got robbed and shot at was at the apartments near Uptown and stuff. It's near, it's called The View. And those are, okay, so this is another story. But in Charlotte, you can literally be in like a predominantly higher income neighborhood and stuff, and you take two turns and a left, and you'll be in the hood. That's the way it works out in Charlotte. So, but I was like, okay, well, you're near Camden, and that they basically have students over there because of Johnson and Wales or whatever, but they have security. So it still didn't make any sense, Anyhow, so I was looking at this picture and I'm like, he is stretched out. Like, okay, I'm still not buying it. I still have not got my Cash App or my PayPal. I still have not made this purchase. I'm still not buying it. Sorry. Well, I went to go talk to the owner of the studio, and I called him because he asked me, let me know when you get safe to a trip or whatever studio that I went on a date with him. And I told him, I was like, hey, have you heard about Fernando? And he was like, yeah, I heard about him and stuff. And I was like, well, I went on a date with Fernando that day that he supposed to got shot. And he was like, I knew it. He's like, I knew something was up. He said, I didn't believe he got shot either, Brooke. And he was like, he just kept like saying mumbo jumbo. He's like, he's always a liar. I'm like, why? Why would you lie about something like that? I was like, what did he say to you? He was like, well, he told me that that they shut down the whole hospital and they had security and stuff. And I said, what? Are you serious? He said, once he said that, I didn't believe him and stuff. Oh, and by the way, the bed sheets that he had in the photo, it said, it was named like one hospital or something. I'm not gonna tell you the name of the hospital, but it was named, let's say it was named like Carolina Hospital and stuff. They got bought out 6 or 9 months prior to that, and now they're called, NC Hospice or something. And they're not using their same old bed sheets that they had 6 or 9 months ago. If they got bought out, they're gonna have their logo right onto the bed sheet. So I was like telling him about the discrepancies, and I was telling her about my friends who is a nurse, her point of view and stuff, and I was like saying like it's a basic crime scene, and like she even called somebody that lives in Charlotte and was like, hey, has there been any reportings of like a shooting? And so they're like, nope, haven't heard anything. And he's like, yeah, he's a liar. And I was like, why would you lie about stuff like that? And even the funny thing was like on the comments and stuff, they were like, oh my God, who would do this to Fernando? Who would shoot Fernando? This is awful, this is awful. And like, there were the accounts that he was running. All the accounts, he showed me like 5 or 6 accounts that he ran on his page. And it was just like, all of it. I'm like, this is crazy. And I was like, yeah, I was like, he's weird. And I asked him about the car situation. He was like, well, what kind of car did you drive? I was like, I picked him up. He's like, exactly. He's like, he has like some kind of like Oldsmobile, like 1993, like jambalaya hoop-de-whoop or whatever. And I was like, and it's tan. I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, he wants to spit all this major game and stuff. And I was like, yeah. I said, that's crazy. So like, yeah, so after that, that was really the last time I really heard from him after I got back, because I didn't want to talk to him because he was like nuts. Because he even did something far-fetched on IG Live. He was saying like Kylie Jenner wanted him, and like Travis Scott blocked him and stuff because Kylie wanted him. I'm like, girl, that's a whole lie. It's that's crazy. But to find out, I think he basically unfollowed everybody that was with us or with the same camp or whatever, because like he figured out somehow he hacked into the algorithm of Instagram and all those other companies and stuff. And so he was just like just making like, I don't want to say ghost accounts, where he's just making fraudulent accounts, and he was doing like scamming and money laundering, allegedly, and stuff, even though you don't know his name, Fernando. But they were like, yeah, we can't have this, we can't have that. But yep, so that's what happened. But either way, I don't have a mob. If I did have a mob, I don't know, does it look like I run with a mob? That's what I'm trying to ask. Like, the only people I run with and stuff in a big group is my brunch group on Sundays, and they're basically 20-something-year-old Caucasian women with like nice, respectable jobs, and they love mimosas. So like, that's the only gang I run with. Brunch gang, brunch gang, like all day, every day, brunch gang, like on a Sunday. So yeah, it was far-fetched. I didn't believe the hype, but yeah. But yep, so that's my story time. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I have plenty more stories to tell you. Like, that's not, comment below talking about, how crazy it was, just all the shenanigans, and just leave a like and subscribe again. But thank you guys, and I love you all.